maybe not. But with what Quid has been playing, like he has just been so insane.
I would probably see it as like a handshake kind of deal. I mean, depending on your mid laners, but if both are available, you can do the trade. I would have thought Nautilus would go over first pick, but I guess not.
Oh,
sorry.
Banger!
Sorry.
This is the kind of entertainment you can expect if you want to tune into the dive.
Poppy is also open this game, so there could be a Poppy.
The producer just humped in my ear. He said, we will not be having Meteos back on the broadcast after that. So this is your final game. Time to make it count.
Rest in peace. And they did, in fact, even end up picking
Raz gets the last laugh.
Yeah, it wasn't a producer. It was just Raz.
Yeah.
Raz holding the producer at gunpoint.
This is producer Raz here.
All right, well, there's my Taliyah. Happy to see that one picked up on the other side. I will say Contractz is a super duper good Taliyah too. Sometimes this is not really a flex pick because the jungler, some jungle Taliyahs, not really, they shouldn't have that ability, but this definitely is a flex team.
So Kaisa potentially taken away here. Earlier in the series, I would have just thought this was a Varus, but because Kaisa feels like it's become such a pivotal pick, they're going to actually take it away, from that Nautilus Kaisa duo. And they are going to be able to grab up some hard engage here. This is something you were talking about, Meteos, after the last game, is that it felt like 100 Thieves couldn't be the proactive ones because they didn't have any of those go buttons.
It's hard, right? Especially against something like Nico, like Rakan. There's just so much snap engage. If one team has that and the other team doesn't, the team who cannot engage feels so much more pressure. Anytime you face check, anytime you walk into fog, you have to respect the fact that they could just go on you at any time.
Also, just saying, I said you got to raise priority on Lee Sin and Rell for securing objectives, and River has had a lot of things stolen from him, so if you are the Rell, now you can Q smite.
Could also be a pick for Eyla, though. Pretty good combo there with Kaisa, one of the classics. Jack's going to draw a ban now, as I think that's the first ban it's gotten so far in this series, but Sniper has been playing it a lot and has been a bit of a thorn in the side of NRG, especially with Dhokla here getting 5th pick counter pick. If he doesn't have a really great answer for it, I think the ban makes sense. Maybe get him a matchup where he can try to dominate more. That was a real key to victory for Cloud9 over 100 Thieves, was the matchups that Fudge was able to orchestrate in the top lane, was the damage he was able to do there. So maybe Dhokla could get something cooking on red side.
Yeah, I'm curious if 100 Thieves will ban the Ksante. I think both of NRG's wins have been on Ksante. It's definitely a champion, I think, that fits the way NRG wants to play. It has enough agency that Dhokla's happy to play it, while also being a champ that can function on weak side. So I think that would be a pretty smart ban for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and NRG here are banning out some of those sniper carry champs. The Olaf following it up too, so it does seem likely.
Yeah, when we saw 100 Thieves against Cloud9, there was a lot of Aatrox for Sniper, which wasn't really working out. That, of course, would still be available. The Ksante not going to get banned. It is going to be the Varus, so they don't want the Varus as a response. FBI could look towards Zeri. So Smolder priority has gone absolutely all the way down. No one wants to play it anymore. It is going to be the Zeri answer here. There's no enchanter behind him to really kind of buff him up, unless they're really cooking and going to move things super crazy around. But it is a really strong scaling pick.
I don't love this draft from NRG so far. It's looking a little shaky to me.
Is there anything that you think could pull it together? It is going to be Aatrox here for Sniper, kind of as expected, what he played against Cloud9. What would you want to see from Dhokla to maybe kind of like shore it up if you feel like it's missing something major?
I don't even know what you'd pick in. Yes, go Shaco, game 5.
I feel like Dhokla just going to do something not super spicy. I feel like he's just going to do a Ksante or something again.
Yeah, I would kind of expect Ksante again. There it is.
All right, so we have the full drafts.
You already have Taliyah, Zhao, Zeri damage. Like, you have plenty of damage already anyway. But the Nocturne is a really interesting one because Nocturne with Ahri, with Kaisa here, lots of dive potential, lots of, if the map is opened up again, we've had so many of these games with spread map, and then it's all about picks and which team is getting the first pick, and then tumbles into these crazy team fights.
I have a lot of concerns about if FBI is going to live. Like, there is so much hard engage, so much dive. It feels like Ahri, Nocturne, Rell splashing on you, Kaisa's killer instincting in onto you. Maybe the hope is that the Xin and the Taliyah are like killing everyone off as they're putting all that pressure onto FBI, but it feels like a tough game for him to survive in fights.
Yeah, I think this is an insane Aatrox angle for Sniper, which would for sure have me a little shaking if I'm NRG here, because Aatrox is good against these tanky, low damage comps, and NRG honestly doesn't have that much damage on their comp. Like, all their champs kind of need items to do damage, and I don't think Ksante is a great matchup in Aatrox. I think he'll do just fine in that lane.
I think for sure Palafox has a really big game this game. That Taliyah could be extremely pivotal if they are to win this one, and it's got to be him.
All right, well, we're heading on in. It's game number 5, 100 Thieves, NRG Kia going up against it.
Oh, we see some top lane cheese.
Yeah, everyone from 100 Thieves spreading out across the map, and NRG sending 4 members top, wanting to see if they can find any sort of a pick. Oh, they showed. Sniper saw him.
It's just Dhokla, though.
Yeah.
Only Dhokla showed so far. Oh, now we got Huhi shown, too.
Not gonna
Flash on
connect.
I like a game 5 to start out like that.
I respect the attempt. I always like when people look for these level 1 invades, look for the opportunity. If you have the stronger level 1.
Also, I really like this ward that you saw just be placed by 100 Thieves. This sees when you transition jungle quadrants here for Xin Zhao, and you get a little peek there towards the lane.
And after all the spicy trash talk yesterday, we get a hi-oh in chat from River.
Huh. I do props for him for not being just completely melted down after getting Baron stolen repeatedly. Like I would be in the fetal position right now.
I mean, he was just laughing about it. He was completely unfazed. Quid and River walking off stage, they were walking with the NRG members, and they were clearly joking back and forth about it because they were laughing it up, having a good time. This is definitely a very good vibes team, which I think can be beneficial when you get in these tough spots, right? Where maybe someone's just gonna get pissed. I don't think that really helps you out. So
no, I mean absolutely.
Stay stable.
It's very good. It's cool to see.
All right, we are going to have Quid, since he cleared that ward, has the level 2 on first wave. Maybe there's something. Palafox is pushing it, though, so as long as Palafox doesn't put himself in a bad position while he's pushing, won't get surprised. And Jungler's just clearing opposite sides here. Interesting that River on the Nocturne is clearing from top, or from bottom up towards top instead.
Yeah, Nocturne generally feels like all you really want to do is just power farm. Maybe you're covering some ganks, you're looking to respond a little bit, but generally speaking, you just want to get to 6 and make that first move with your ultimate really pay off.
But that's why it's a little surprising he didn't start Raptors for the earlier Raptor respawn, because usually if you're trying for the super quick, then you do that, but maybe it is this like desyncing because you think that Xin Zhao is going to try on that timer to come for your Raptors.
Yeah, that's what Meteos was talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something Spica mentioned to me too when we were talking about jungle is he said in solo queue he's pretty much always switched to starting buffs just because that 4-minute invade.
Sniper, 3 Talon strike. The knockup is going to be there, and it wasn't flash, and now Sniper may have flashed too late. Pathmaker comes in from Dhokla. They don't have the damage. But he's going to be able to survive.
But they also don't overstay and die in there. It does mean that Nocturne here, though, River is going to have a lot of freedom because Contractz just showed up there, got chunked out, and has to go back to base now.
I wonder, could Contractz have flashed in for one more auto? Would it have been worth it? At the end of the day, they do get the flash. They don't use any summoners, so not that bad, but it buys a lot of time for Nocturne.
And it's game 5, and NRG, a lot of their big mistakes have been over chasing.
That's true.
So the coaches even mentioned talking to them and saying we need to slow it down a little bit, so a little bit of
is that good or bad, right? If you lose that killer instinct, you have to have confidence in your plays. If it's the right play, you should go for it, whether it didn't work last time or not. Because that's something that Contractz has also talked about, when they were talking about Worlds last year. So we're going to watch this one more time.
How close is it?
It's close. I'm looking at it. I don't think flash.
Yeah.
I was surprised Dhokla went in here, and I'm also surprised he didn't die for going in there.
Yeah, the Q2 just had been used right there for Sniper. That was very, very close.
Yeah, I would say...
Happy they didn't flash?
I think I'm happy they didn't flash, and I think that they're pretty happy that didn't go worse.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I thought the W in Ksante was going to be disaster.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it does work out. I think he barely got out of turret range for that second shot, and he didn't even pop the ghost, so going to be happy about it. At the end of the day, not going to mean that much, I think, on either side. Would be nice to get Dhokla going early. as it feels like when one of them gets ahead, it usually has been Sniper. FBI with the call start here, just farming up down on that bottom side. Has been a very comfortable lane for them thus far. Of course, the way is back towards Meech.
See, it's always the next step of the evolution of, all right, well, if you are starting your buffs, then it's going to be the 4.5 minute respawn for Raptors, and Contractz ends up getting Raptors anyway.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing a bit of a bot gap come in already. Meech had to take a pretty rough recall and pull River to cover.
There's nice. Oh, flashing forward. He's going to be able to get out of there. As Contractz goes in aggressive. They had the faster roam from Huhi, and they were able to take advantage of it.
Good job there. Contractz playing around the spell shield. But it is just going to be flash for flash traded. It's so fun in game number 5 with how tense it is and how close some of these plays are. It feels like we keep getting a little bit of a taste of how aggressive this series has been overall. But nobody wanting to make the first true all-in and first true commitment.
So both teams having a little bit of Game 5 history. 100 Thieves actually 5-5 throughout their org's history in Game 5s. Whereas NRG, just having played the one in summer, since they've been back, obviously, they are 1-0 in those Game 5s.
All right, interesting now too, always is, grubs after you do have the early gank from Contractz. So Nocturne gets one grub right now while top lane.
Dhokla going all out. He has level 6. Sniper's trying to go back to get it, but is it going to be in time? I don't think so. It's a first blood for Dhokla. Solo kill thanks to the early flash they forced before.
Nocturne couldn't even finish the grub either. So that's just going to be a huge solo bolo for Big Dokes, and NRG get to move in. They get one grub. They get chased off.
Here comes the fight, though. In comes the Weaver wall. Palafox is going to arrive. Quid gets over the side, dashes forward, lands the charm. Contractz is out of there. Here comes Dhokla. Can he bail him out? Eyla going to have to flash. Quid needs to get over the wall. He has 2 charges of the Spirit Rush. Will be able to do it, but he's going to go back in. He's crazy. Huhi's too healthy for that. Quid now gonna have to flash, but he's on the wrong side of the map. I don't know if he can get out of there. Sniper though, he's 6 and he's back. He wants to get some payback here on the NRG. Huhi will flash out, but Dhokla, no such luck for him. He's got no mana and nowhere to go. Sniper should be able to get this one back, and will finally be able to finish it off. That's a shutdown for Sniper. Very scrappy stuff up around the grubs.
Yeah, at first when I saw Quid ult back in it, I thought he was just, trying to die, but he was actually making time for Sniper to get there, which was very heads-up play. Definitely gets him back into the game, getting that shutdown on Dhokla.
All right, here's another look at it starting out. And they have the pings really early on, too. So Quid comes down with Eyla. You're looking at Sniper running from base 2 for that timer for the big delay. Once Palafox walls in, they all focus onto Contractz, take him down first because they know he has no flash, no way out. And then it's the brawl at the back of the pit where the seismic shove does get River. But here's the moment you're talking about. Quid goes back in and then flashes over because Sniper, if you're watching the minimap the whole time, made it all the way up. And he's got Aatrox ult.
Yeah, and Palafox here actually goes hunting for Quid instead of helping. He may have been able to, push them back and let Dhokla get out. So a bit of a mistake there. Got too hungry to kill Quid.
Yeah, that's a pretty big shutdown, though. As you said, he does get the Aatrox back into it a bit. Dhokla obviously still going to have a bit of a gold advantage, and he is looking good in this top lane matchup thus far. Has been a pretty big X factor on the Ksante in a number of team fights, able to zero out carries, find big plays. But quietly, things looking good for FBI on the Zeri pick. He's going to be scaling up and does have a pretty nice CS advantage.
And I do like the early sheen here too for Dhokla. This thing got reduced 100 gold in price. So as a component, it's actually a really efficient component nowadays with the ability haste, with of course the proc that you get. And the proc stays the same damage once you turn it into Iceborne. You just get the extra slow.
Yep, and it fits so well into his trading pattern, right? Because you're going forward for these quick trades, being able to proc the Raz, proc the Sheen on that same play. Nice little flick back there from Palafox with the seismic shove, but not going to amount to much of anything. And mid lane looking pretty much dead even thus far. Have to track though. River is level 6, has the paranoia available as Dhokla's going to look with that Pathmaker forward. I do believe we saw Contractz get into the brush behind him, but the vision has been toggled, so we don't know for sure. All right, well, we'll see if there's going to be any sort of a play for this next objective. It has been a lot of play around grubs so far throughout this series. We'll see if anyone wants to kind of make the trip back up there, as the third grub was never even finished off, so it should still be sitting there. Both teams just sitting on one grub apiece. No one has made a move towards the dragon. It's been all about trying to play for gold, trying to play more heavily towards top lane and around that grub so far this game.
Yep, Nocturne does have the ulti, so NRG's not going to want to spread themselves too thin. They're probably... I wouldn't be surprised if they looked for a dragon play soon, just because when you're up against champs like Nocturne and Evelynn and stuff who have this, like, you know, invisible pressure, if you can bait them to come to a fight, then the pressure is kind of relieved since you know where they're going to be.
What would you like to see River do with his first ultimate? You know, do you think it's important that he goes towards Zeri, try to slow him down, or really is it more of just utilize wherever you see the opportunity?
I would say it's opportunity based. Just, you know, if you see a good situation for it, fighting around bushes in these river skirmishes is always good.
Yeah, I feel like you either go to Quid or you go to Eyla rather than just their target. If you go solo on Flash Cleanse Zeri, then it's not going to be anything more than summoner spells there. So looks like they actually have a pretty good early lead on the health bar here. Even though NRG Contractz are waiting around, look at Huhi walking. He's so far on the Nautilus. Yeah, they just burn it and finish. NRG kind of fishing around. Maybe somebody gets a little lazy and walking back towards bottom. But nobody is going to do that, so NRG don't get anything here.
Yeah, Contractz covering the bot lane as they do push that in. Again, a lot of his job is going to be trying to anticipate where the angles could be for that Nocturne and be there before the play does break out. Of course, we know that River is just kind of power farming it up, is 20 CS ahead, as Quid making a roam up towards top lane. We'll see. I think like it's kind of been given away here as Sniper's just charging forward, so the early ghost is going to be popped by Dhokla. He is out of there. Sniper walking past those minions, you know every single time it's the Ksante, someone's there.
Yeah, it wasn't the most subtle gank, but did get the ghost, I guess.
Yeah, ult for ghost trade, not the worst.
Meanwhile, it is going to allow for cross-map play for NRG, but there are wards that will see the cross-map play start. So right now, the wards see Contractz and Palafox moving. And so I don't think there is going to really be an opportunity, since even though 100 Thieves, yeah, you know, Quid goes up topside, then you have kind of the seesaw effect of Summoner's Rift. They've got plenty of wards, and so the vision allows them to play safe on the other half of the map.
If you look at the jungle situation now, River's just creating an advantage by farming. Like, it's so much pressure on Contractz if he's not showing and he's not ulting, because Contractz, anytime you go to a camp, you're like, oh, is my lane going to get ulted? I kind of should be there. You know, I don't want to be taking my wolves while my bot lane's getting ulted, so he just ends up not farming and falling behind.
Yeah, it's that implied pressure, as you say. You know, if you spend the ult, then all right, he doesn't have to worry about anything for a couple of minutes. So that is definitely an upside. If there's not a guaranteed ult, hey, just don't use it. And Contractz is kind of stuck on guard duty.
I would like to see NRG maybe look for some pressure toward top lane. Aatrox, especially when he builds this way, is really squishy and diveable. So I think that would be a pretty good play to go for, just to at least make Nocturne show himself, take away some of this pressure.
Yeah, especially with them showing on wards right now with the invade on bottom side. 100 Thieves, because of that extra pressure, they're going to get up to tower, get turret plate money. Meanwhile, Contractz up in the void grubs over here to finish that one off and get the scuttle. But maybe they go for that Aatrox, you know, at least the pressure on the Aatrox to push him off tower that you were talking about.
They're listening to us.
Has zoned him off. And they are going to be able to push him away for
barely any.
It's barely anything, as Dhokla will TP down towards bot. And as is required, we've got a new item here for Kaisa. Did go for Kraken first, so we've seen a couple shivs. Now he's got to mix it up.
Fearless Kaisa builds.
As far as builds though, Nocturne is pretty fun, because you have the choice between like the older style of the Stridebreaker, which is pretty good now, or I love the Eclipse rush into experimental Hexblade, because Eclipse is the shield is off of skills, also bonus AD, and Nocturne, when your Q is cast and you get a bunch of extra on the trail, and then you proc it, feels so good to get a really big shield. So a lot of survivability on a very cheap item power spike there too, which sometimes like you time it with your first ultimate, but this game has been a lot safer, so they haven't actually used it yet.
Yeah, I was looking at Nocturne's runes, and he's actually not running Ultimate Hunter this game. And I guess if you're just never pressing your ultimate, you don't have to worry about the cooldown on it.
Wait until you have rank 2 ultimate to press it first. So
that's always the worst feeling, when you're like level 10.9 and like you should ult, but you don't want to.
I guess I'll just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, we can get A's. I'll have less cooldown on my next one.
All right, well, some of the major item completions have come through here. Profane Hydra done up in the top lane. Dhokla already done his Iceborne though at the same time. Plus he has the tier 2 boots and the Bramble Vest. So Dhokla really looking good up in the top lane. Zeri And it's going to be the Shiv rush, kind of as expected, and Malignant's first year again for Quid. We really don't see any variation from the Ahri builds until the second item, where we've seen a couple different looks. I don't actually, have we even seen the Lich Bane today, though? It feels like it's been, we saw Shurelius one game. We've been seeing, you know, kind of more bursty builds the other game, but I can't remember if we saw Lich Bane yet.
I don't believe so. I think we've seen Horizon Focus, which, you know, I can understand why. It's a lot cheaper. It's, I think, 2,700 as opposed to Lich Bane's 31. So you definitely get it online earlier and can get your other items.
Very passive game 5, though, especially compared to the pace that has been set throughout the rest of the series, where it's been very, very scrappy. No one really pulling the trigger. At what point are you kind of getting worried about the fact that as Nocturne, you still have not used your ultimate? I mean, he's farming well, but still, it's like, I always find this champion is way harder to team fight on as you get later on in the game, where you're at that point where it's like, okay, the soul laners are getting way too much XP. You're kind of starting to fall behind. You don't always have time to power farm. It can be difficult later on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be super worried about like my number of ults when I'm playing Nocturne, but you don't want to be missing opportunities to ult. But just sending it for fun, just say you did it.
Of course.
It's not super useful. I
guess the question is more, do you think that they can get outscaled? Like, is there that concern? If you're just kind of AFK farming from this point, whose spot do you favor? Because if you don't favor the Nocturne spot, then of course he needs to find angles, and now he's going to be forced to flash out.
Oh, wow, that was so close. He was almost in Nautilus ult range.
And 100 Thieves looking like they're posturing here to potentially re-engage. There goes the Paranoia, but he's going to be knocked back by the Crescent Guard. But Quid dashes inside it and lands the charm. Palafox on the other side getting a lot of damage done. It's Eyla who's down first. Dhokla goes all out on Meech, but now he's got to run. In comes Quid. There's the unstoppable, beautifully timed by Dhokla. Has been on point all series long with those Pathmakers. Doesn't feel like he's missed a single CC.
And good safety here from Contractz. Like, they go on the Xin, but he pops his ult. He flashes back into the safety of the Taliyah rocks. Energy, they get the kill on the Eyla. They get the dragon here as well. They will even that up. And we have our first, like, major gold lead, major move in this entire game 5.
Exactly, and I like what NRG did there. They just took the fight directly on Nocturne. You don't have to worry about his ultimate when you're engaging on him. 100 Thieves wasn't really the cleanest engage.
No. Yeah, they go Nocturne ultimate and then try and engage with the Ahri to follow up on the Xin, but Xin charges and then flashes, and guess what? They get the kill onto your support. Even though Dhokla kind of goes off on the side here, he pushed the Kaisa out and gets out safe over the wall.
I just feel like Nocturne ult being used on a Contractz, it's so low expected value when Contractz, you know, has the Crescent Guard. Quid even got inside the Crescent Guard, landed the charm, but it's just they're not even close to having that much damage, and it meant that Zeri's untouched, Palafox is untouched. It's hard to win a fight in that position.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of interesting in Season 14 is they removed a lot of the bushes between mid lane and Dragon Baron areas, which before was one of Nocturne's best spots to fight because you...
Could be a dive here. There's going to be a TP coming in as a response. I think it will dissipate as there's enough of a response, so you can continue.
Yeah, well, with less bushes, one of the biggest advantage of Nocturnal is you lose the shared vision with your team, so any wards and bushes are just gone. So, you know, it's very hard to fight or just attack anyone.
Yeah, and people talk so much, obviously, about Nocturne and competitive. The old combo used to be like, oh, it's Nocturne Cannon, it's Nocturne plus Flanker, basically. You turn off the lights, it's hard to spot that Flanker. So we'll see if we can set anything up with that, you know, with Quid or for Sniper, making that play happen. Dhokla has been left alone. 100 Thieves are in the area, but it's a tough dive to make happen. He is a very tanky Ksante at this point in the game, and NRG are rushing out of base there to cover in case of any sort of aggressive move from 100 Thieves.
I would like to see NRG keep the pressure on Aatrox. It seems like they're kind of taking the pressure off of him a little bit because he's just so squishy. You can pretty much force a play on him with any two members.
Slowly chipping away here. NRG with the siege. Get a large portion of the mid lane turret, but doesn't quite fall, and so Sniper gets to go walk right back down to that bottom lane. He had like half roamed up the river in case they hard committed to it, but no hard commitment there from NRG. Just pretty safe siege with the Zeri and the Taliyah. Retake on the river here though, 400 Thieves. They clean it out on Vision, and they've got another Nocturne ultimate locked up. Level 2 now, with his level 11 achieved, rank 2 in the ultimate, and he is going for the Stride Breaker next. Obviously, since he's not spamming his ultimate, doesn't really need the extra ultimate ability haste from Experimental Hexblade.
And we'll have to see as this game, it feels like it's going to be one that kind of comes down to objectives, but at the same time, it is the Chemtech Soul, which really is by far the least desirable one. So both teams may be willing to say, we'll just kind of give it up. There's one Dragon apiece, it's already 20 minutes. Even if you got Soul, it'd be super late and kind of who really cares? So this can be one of those games that becomes very passive and looking for those plays. He's Dhokla, but Quid just going to be able to pop the ulti and back right off. I think both teams are feeling a little bit hesitant here. You know, it is game 5. They know you lose this game, your season is over. And it can be tough in that situation because even just mentally, you know, you don't want to be the guy who loses your team the game.
Yeah, we've definitely seen both teams kind of take their foot off the gas for this one. Partially due to the champions, like Nocturne's not really the same as Lee Sin. But I think also, yeah, there's a lot of hesitation.
That's true. One is blind and the other blinds the other team. True. Key difference. All right, Herald gonna get popped here in mid. We'll see if Meech and Eyla can walk it forward, but it looks like it's kind of just a freebie given over to NRG as that Herald is dropped pretty late and no defense for it. So not even gonna get one charge, and they're actually the ones who lose the tower in mid after dropping the Herald there, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
No drift.
I would look on the timer too and see if it was like
I think it was about to expire.
Automatic dropout. It's actually a pretty nice change that it just pops out of you when the
Where'd that come from?
when that timer runs out.
What's in there? All right, the hook going to be going in. There's the depth charge onto River. River flashes out. The locket should keep him alive, but in goes Contractz onto Sniper. Blast Cone will get into safety. River narrowly survives thanks to the flash and the locket there from Eyla. They get the TP out from Quid. NRG finding a window to put a little bit of pressure there onto River.
It's always interesting because now we're 30 seconds ahead of Dragon, and Nocturne, a lot of times you want to early flash when you have your fear on the kill target so that they'll stay in range and they won't be able to flash out of it. Like maybe that becomes a thing with his flash not being down, but he did save his ultimate here. He didn't like panic use it and try and cover vision or anything. So 100 Thieves are still going to move into the river. Sniper does have his teleport ready.
Yeah, we'll see. Charm going to be able to land there on the Huhi. He's getting low, but in comes the Weaver wall to try to section them off. The lights get turned out and the TPs are coming in. It's a flash retreat here from NRG. They're trying to get out of there. Dhokla's behind him, but doesn't even matter. His team is just getting erased as Quid in the backline once again. It's a story as old as time. Quid and Sniper into the backline, crush down the carries, and NRG gets eviscerated.
Massive 4 for 0 there. That was so weird looking. Huhi was just shrugging off all this damage he was taking going in. It's like he was expecting to just go for this hard engage, and they kind of just got cleaned.
And now it's Baron on the table here. Such a costly fight. It's a really late one in the game. It's a slow start, and then when you lose it, it's not just the team fight. It's likely the Baron. Dhokla's here. We'll see if he can try to do anything to delay, to buy some time. Huhi's back as well, but there's no angle to get anything done. It's a freebie there for 100 Thieves, and they secure the first major lead of this Game 5.
I feel like we can definitely see the difference of the pressure of Game 5 and people playing way slower than before. But Huhi, after he takes the big chunk,
he just
still
keeps
walks
going.
up, hooks in, Contractz goes in as well, but then Nocturne Ultimate just immediately turns it around, and they chase through right after him.
And look at that engage from Eyla on this side. Both the carries were sectioned off from their team, and Eyla flashes, crashes down, hits the Megastorm on both FBI and Palafox. That was so big. No protection for the carries, and they are very happy about that one. And we're back to live. There's a dredge line connecting. In comes the depth charge. It's going to be immune by a spell shield from River, but on the other side, it's Eyla going down as NRG getting one back. FBI trying to go forward here. Pops the Zeri ult, but there's the ulti in onto him, and it's enough to knock him down. Quid again getting the resets, and here comes Sniper from the top ropes looking to drop the hammer. Can't find anyone on the backside, but it doesn't even matter. NRG choose the fight, but it's 100 Thieves that finish it.
And since they have Baron from the previous one, they're just going to take towers now. So much gold going into their pockets. They split into the mid lane and a bottom lane push. That's one tower bot, now one tower mid. Second one bot here, going to fall pretty quickly too. Looks like it's going to be a lot of gold.
Yeah, I mean, after such a tense early game, both teams kind of playing footsies. It's just completely broke open for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is looking almost untenable. It's pretty rough to think how they're going to be able to come back from this position. You need kind of the Zeri moment or something, but we can watch it one more time. The Dragon was secured, and they just go for the fight.
Yeah, they go for the flash initiation onto the Rell, and the Rell kind of bouncing back there, but Contractz moved up on the Xin, and he used his ultimate, but Fear goes off as as it expires, and then River just uses Nocturne ultimate to the other side of the team fight, and the rest of the team chases.
Quid had a beautiful flash charm there, it looked like, to follow up. Like, everyone piled in on FBI and just kind of 100-0'd him at the back end of that fight. Oh, Eyla threatening potentially here for a dive. They could be one bad fight away from this game ending with Baron there, with them being pushed in, Palafox getting low, and the dive could be on the table if they're not careful. River definitely threatening.
Yep. NRG's hope is probably just Dhokla at this point. He's got TP, he could look for something, but with a team as mobile as 100 Thieves are, it's going to be hard for him to get a lot done in these fights.
Yeah, definitely not too many easy angles, so they're going to have to work some magic here. NRG have done so previously with some Baron steals, but 100 Thieves still wearing the previous one and just pushing in is so much pressure so early into the game. We're barely at 25 minutes here. This pace for this game just exploded. I feel like we are for sure just seeing so much of a difference, though, of the Game 5 kind of the effect on your mentality.
Absolutely. I mean, that one team fight just went so bad for NRG, and when that's the first one that you pick and it's post 20 minutes and you lose the Baron off the back of it, it is really disheartening. When they came into this game with a roar, and it kind of feels like they're going out with a whimper, as they haven't really been able to get much of anything going in this Game 5.
Yeah, it's definitely been hard. You know, they weren't able to find a whole lot of early plays against the Nocturne. He was able to farm up. They felt a lot of pressure from his ult being available. I really wonder, you know, if NRG had Smolder instead of Zeri, would this game look different? I don't know.
I mean, most Smolders, even if they're stacking pretty slow, usually get it by around 26 minutes.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they had, then you probably would be getting that around now. Maybe we'll see some actual Zeri stuff soon, but we definitely haven't so far. As you mentioned, you know, the immediate deletion in the previous one.
I mean, it's just tough because it kind of feels like they lost the game at a point where Smolder wouldn't have the stacks anyway, right? You know, that major mistake in that team fight was at about 21 minutes, and don't think that FBI would have had it either way. We'll see if he can make something happen with the champion he's picked, though. Obviously, they are locked in here, and they need to find a way to come back if they want to complete what would be a pretty incredible comeback after a bit of heroics in the late game in Game 4, push themselves to Game 5. But this feels like this is like a 35, 40-minute game state where you're really on the back foot. We're 26 minutes in, and they're having to seed all their tier 2s.
They have given 5 towers since that team fight in Baron went over. That Baron was so much value.
I mean, this is crazy. This is a 7.8K gold lead. NRG was in a pretty good spot prior to that, but now you look over on the other side, Quid is a full item ahead of Palafox, and I feel like we've been saying that a few times today, as Palafox, you know, has been trying his best, has been finding some good moments, but Quid, every single team fight, seems to find an angle, seems to find a way to really have a huge impact.
All right, we are at the time now where you send all resources down like one side lane for NRG and hope that you get a bounty. Because there are a lot of bounties on people's heads and not a good chance of winning a straight up team fight. You are so heavily out itemized now with the massive gold difference.
Yeah, it's really just Dhokla that's even in gold, but it's like Ksante's not going to 1v9 this fight, right? You know, your carries are so threatened. There's a lot of ways for 100 Thieves to reach the backline to be able to put pressure on Zeri and Palafox. Even in an even game, I think it's very hard for Palafox and FBI to carry this. But when you're 8K behind, it's just so tough for FBI to actually be able to stay alive long enough to get value out of the Zeri.
Contractz is going to need several Baron steals. All right, here's one coming in. He's slithering up.
Yeah, he's setting himself up to break Xmithy's record in this one.
Chain Baron steals.
Yeah, back to back to back. He probably needs it. He probably needs at least 2 to be able to claw this one back. We'll see if they can find any late game heroics, but it's 100 Thieves immediately back up towards that top side, looking to clean out the vision here around this Baron. It's something they can definitely threaten. I mean, this is on-hit Kaisa. It's actually Blade Rune King coming in, which is a little bit surprising, but definitely high amount of on-hit, really high DPS. They could crush this Baron.
And it's so annoying too with Verdant Barrier, like a component giving you
Meech maybe getting caught. Dhokla's gonna look here. Do they force it? There's the killer instinct used defensively. Paranoia gonna get popped. Dhokla's gotta run. as they will pull back. World Ender has been popped, and in goes River, and he's on to FBI. He's trying to finish him off. FBI trying to cut it out. The blast cone will keep him alive, but Dhokla in the midst of everyone. Huhi about to go down. Dhokla trying to pull off a miracle. Meech barely surviving, but Meech is down to Dhokla. And on the other side, River is still fighting, but he's going to lose out there. Sniper going forward. Sniper and Quid will finally take down Dhokla, who tries to go for something heroic, does at least get one, but at the end of the day, it's 1 for 2, and it's 100 Thieves marching on the Baron.
Yeah, and Contractz is marching over for the steal.
It's time.
The foretold steal. Here he comes.
We'll see. He's got no wards in pocket. He has a sweeper. He's got no vision.
He can W it.
He's going to have to try to W over the wall, see if he can find something. There's the blue trinket popped. He saw it, but I don't think there's any sort of an angle. He doesn't think there is either. 100 Thieves claim the Baron. Scrappy fight there that NRG chose, but now it's a 10K gold lead.
Award goes to Eyla for going over and actually keeping him out. Another look at this one, though, because Dhokla does end up taking down Meech in the backline here, but look at the escape from Zeri. Quid jumps in with his ulti. It's the flash from Sniper, and River tries to follow, but the super blast cone barely gives him his life back.
FBI took so much damage there immediately. Aatrox flashed in on him as soon as Nocturne hit him with the ulti, and he's just out of the fight entirely.
That's what I mean. When you're that far behind, it's like, how do you team fight? Nocturne ult plus like barely a little bit of damage. Quid didn't even get back there on him. And he is just out of there. Dhokla maybe just going to try to take this fight. I mean, you've got to go for desperate plays now. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The light's going to get turned off. Everyone coming in here from NRG, but at the same time, here comes the cavalry from the 100 Thieves side. The World Ender's going to get popped. Sniper gets scooped back into the team, but will just dash over the wall. It is the disengage. They do at least force a couple ultis. That's Aatrox and Nocturne with no ult.
I can't believe River slipped out of there. That was 5 people on a flashless Nocturne, and he just broke his way
Just turn out the lights and walk out to the rest of your team.
I think they were worried that if they fully committed the time to actually kill him, that 100 Thieves would arrive, kill them off, and the game's over, right? And that's that difficult position that they're in. One mistake ends the game. It is going to make you maybe that bit more gun shy.
Yeah, they knew Quid was topside. They didn't know how far along he was. So a little bit, a lot to lose actually here, trying to defend now versus Baron.
Yeah, the Baron buff still going to be active here for over a minute. Huhi maybe going to look for an angle, but if you choose the wrong one, you go into your death. That could be the end of the season for NRG. We're so far down, have really had an up and down year so far this year, not finding the success that they wanted, where 100 Thieves on the other side have really surpassed all expectations. They had an incredible regular season. People had them power ranked generally pretty low. Were able to finish in a tie for first place at the end of the regular season. Got taken out very handily by Cloud9, but now a great bounce back series for them. Looking like they're on the verge of eliminating the defending champions here in the LCS. Potentially one fight away from doing it.
All right, they're ping-ponging between side lanes and mid now. Sniper and Quid will be able to get the waves at the same time, but the rest of the team that was holding mid lane back off on their pressure. So for now, the defense holds.
Yeah, 100 Thieves don't want to keep pressuring without Baron. Kind of understandable, game 5, don't want to throw the game. Gonna go spend all your money.
Dragon coming up fairly shortly as well. Go collect every single piece on the map. They know if NRG step out into the open territory away from those towers at all, they get to immediately engage on them again.
Quid picking up the Magi's, feeling confident, looking to put the finishing touches on what has been an absolutely amazing series from him. You have to think that he would be probably player of the series. He's been really, really outstanding. River having a great series as well, but those two as a duo have been looking amazing. And it has been crazy to see how quickly I feel like Quid developed. Last year, people were telling me he's good in scrims, he's not showing it on stage, but I feel like you hear that so often and it doesn't always pan out. For him to see this much improvement, like this meteoric of a rise, to go from someone that people were saying, does he even deserve a spot on a team, to does he deserve to be the MVP, is a crazy change in conversation and narrative around one of the most exciting young players in the LCS.
Massive improvement from year to year.
Absolutely. I mean, I think when most people heard that 100 Thieves was replacing their entire roster except Quid, people were like, wait, you got that backwards.
Yeah.
But, clearly they made the right choice.
And it's been fun to see a lot of the young players, I think, really stepping up across the league. Have been having great splits. I think Meech quietly has been really solid, 400 Thieves. getting done when he needs to get done for the team. And Sniper, of course, has been a big standout. It is Rookie of the Year, not Rookie of the Splits. There won't be voting done on that.
He's not quietly been having a good year. Very loudly.
Very loudly, with many solo kills. But I feel like it's obviously it's pretty early to say that, but it feels like he is a massive favorite to win Rookie of the Year, which will obviously be done after summer does conclude.
Okay. Still again, back into the 1-3-1, the classic. 100 Thieves cleaning the jungle, checking off every box as they march towards the Nexus in game number 5 here, the pivotal game. They missed a couple in their cleaning duty, and then one is also replaced. NRG still looking for these surprise plays. You know, they're always looking for the massive comeback play. That's how they got this reputation.
And it feels like 100 Thieves just want to play for Baron, right? They're not actually willing to risk anything on any sort of aggressive dive. They're massively ahead. They know it. They are just going to look to play for Baron and likely play for the turn. And they do have a very strong one. So it's going to be up to NRG to try to find a way to maintain enough defensive vision that they at least have a chance to be able to approach the Baron, to know that it's going on, maybe find a Miracle Seal, maybe find a Miracle Fight, which could be the beginnings of a potential comeback.
I do like the way that 100 Thieves has had deep control. I think they might be giving NRG a bit of a window here, allowing them to walk through their jungle. When you're controlling Baron, this is generally when you want to fight the other team, when they're walking through your vision, face checking everything. But they're actually just going to let NRG clear their wards so they can go buy and get more items.
Death Cap has been completed now for Palafox. Of course, he's still very far behind as far as the items are concerned. Really, everyone is on NRG besides Dhokla, but Palafox and FBI, a lot of pressure on these guys to be able to make it happen in the team fights. They're really the only ones who can get the damage done. As 100 Thieves already onto the Baron, is spotted out by that blue trinket. They're going to try to find their way over to it. They don't have great vision. They know it's being done. They spot Quid, though, with that vision plant. Going to be able to sweep him out and know that he is looking for it. The light's going to get turned off, though. Are they going to go in with this? Dhokla split from the team, but the rest of the squad is all together, and Contractz is going forward. Is it going to be a flip again? Can Contractz pull it off? He can't. Contractz is looking like he's going to fall. The smite secured there this time by River, and the first kill goes the way of 100 Thieves. They want more. Flash in from Eyla. It's the crash down. It's the magnet storm, and it's the end of NRG as 100 Thieves pile in. It's a triple already for Quid. Is he going to get the quadra? Of course he is. 100 Thieves crush through the fight. They silence the doubters. They take out the defending LCS champions. And they have got this game on lock.
100 Thieves. All that's left is the turret destruction here. Every member of NRG are in the dirt. Game 5 here. 100 Thieves will stand tall.
What an incredible finish to an incredible series there from 100 Thieves. So many questions about this young team were posed after their loss to C9, and they answer them all. Quid, Sniper, River, these guys are legit. Meech and Eyla playing a good series as well. That last game was absolutely dominating. They made it look easy in the final one. Can definitely hold their heads high and be really happy with this performance, you know, vindicating that their regular season was deserved, that this was not a fluke. They're not just a scrim team. They get a big playoff win, and they keep their LCS championship hopes alive.
What a series